Hi everyone. Today I'm thinking about the Leela Chess Zero engine. It's a crowdsourced project. Uh, I think basically trying to replicate what Google did with AlphaZero, having a chess engine that learns chess on its own accord, not through any human intervention other than the laws of chess. Um, it's an interesting program. Um, I tried playing a couple of games against it on their website, and that's what I'm going to start out with today, just to kind of get a feel of what's going on. Hi to Picard, uh, Chess Comedy. We have Laughing and Atomic Player. A couple of regulars there. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna start out playing a couple of games against the engine, and then we'll do some impressions and so on and so forth. Also, I do want to say that um, I'm guessing a lot of you guys in chat know more about this than me. So feel very free to come with input, comments, and so on and so forth. I do think I have managed to install it, which was a bit of a challenge. But on the bright side, I think that if I'm able to install it, then there's the possibility that others will be able to do so as well. One of the things I noticed about the at least playing against it on their website lc0.org is that it always plays the same opening without any alterations. So now I'm playing on the normal mode, and oh, I made a bad cutout. I should have cut it so that you can see what Leela thinks of her position. Anyhow, it always plays the same line. So I'm gonna go knight f3. It's gonna go d6, bishop b5, knight d7. And I realized this might be, I guess, how it's programmed or something. That this is not representative of how it works in real life. But I still think it's very interesting that I played this opening the first time against it, and since then I played like 4 games with the very same thing over and over again. And I got such a big advantage in all the games, right? Because now I have a very nice control over the d5 square, and my practice games with the Leela has been this line 4 times. I'm getting a big advantage every single time, but with some troubles for converting it. And when I say some troubles, I mean I get in trouble somehow. But I mean, look at this. This is what I'm getting every single time. And it's just such a good position for white. And somehow I end up in... I get some issues. But I'm gonna keep doing the same thing I always did. Black's position is bad, but it's not that easy to break through as I would have initially thought. And that's basically the most positive thing I can say about Black's situation. And every time I move away that knight, something bad happens. Yeah, queen d4 is a good move. Hi, Halvar. Twitch Camp asks, music down, please? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. We have Dnig on in the chat. She's moving instantly. That shouldn't be too difficult then. Yeah, I agree. But on the other hand, it's yeah. No, I'm not winning against her. So far, I have no wins. And also this queen d4 move I didn't see, and now I'm not such a big fan of my position. And by not such a big fan of my position, I mean I hate my position. Yeah, I managed to defend a couple of difficult endgames. But this, I think, might be beyond even my abilities to defend. The thing is that even if she moves so quickly, if I move as quickly, then I'm just gonna lose, I think. So I need to think for a little bit, but yeah. This game, I think, is over. Okay, surely that is a mistake. That doesn't feel very good. Yeah, she goes back. I'm not gonna do that. Never mind. I'm gonna go back here. Look at this. This is also very interesting. You cannot see that because it wasn't there when I cropped my picture. But now it says Leela thinks her expected score is 61%, in which a higher number is better and 100 is max. So she thinks she has good chances to win with 61. But now she's going back and forth and then chooses to go out of the repetition. And we were discussing this as well with the Alpha Zero engine, that it had some weird repetitions sometimes, but then it would go out of the repetition. So apparently it's the same case here. Back and forth. Let's just game over, drawn position. So she thought yeah, I don't know what's up with the settings, but she thought she was better, but still went for the repetition. I think basically all my games so far have ended in a draw. What is the time control? Asks the Fuxia. There is no time control. Essentially, she moves within 50 nodes, which honestly I don't know what means. And then I just move as I feel like. Helmut with some interesting comments. These are so-called history planes in the network. Okay, I don't really understand what you're saying. Who is JLH playing? Asks Balani. I'm playing against Leela Zero, and Groger explains it as a neural network engine inspired by Google's Alpha 1, Alpha 0 engine. Around 0.01 seconds on a good graphics card, says Groger. That's not a lot of thinking time. Okay, so this is the normal difficulty. I guess we'll try hard, which is 400 nodes. So I'm gonna restart game and do hard. And I'm gonna demonstrate to you that look what happens in the opening. Have you seen this before? It's the same thing over and over again. I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but I thought it was interesting. And once again, I'm gonna take this and go knight d5. And I'm much better. I refuse to believe that I am not much better in this position. But on the other hand, I have had trouble in my past 4 games trying to exploit this d5 square. Thank you to Eilertson for the sub. My alert is hidden behind the window. I apologize. But at least we got some thunder. What's the evaluation after the opening? Leela thinks she's in a 47%. So she thinks she's slightly worse. We're gonna go into, afterwards we're gonna go into some chess software and play there instead. And then we're gonna see if so I can win the exchange now with knight f4. But I'm gonna lose the pawn on h4 as well as the pawn on g3. That might not be a good trade for me. Now I'll go here first. Okay, I mean this is winning, no? Yeah, so I should take this one and then give this check. And I'm winning! Perfect timing. I'm winning on stream against the hard difficulty. I'm very happy right now. Let's just take all of these pieces. Yeah, I see what you're doing over here with this pawn. Am I gonna be very concerned about this pawn? No. I don't think I am. I'm just gonna take everything you got. If I could just now get my rooks to coordinate, or my king to cover. Let's use the king, I think. Okay, we got the H pawn under control. An insane amount of material up. What is the next step? You know what? Let's just protect this guy. Start pushing. Start pushing pawns. I'm hesitating. I don't really know why I'm hesitating. There's no chance I messed this up. On the other hand, I don't really understand why she's playing on either. Check, 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 check. You know what? Maybe I should just give this rook. Why not? I'm spoiled for choice. I cannot decide what to do. Such a difficult choice. So many winning moves. And I'm kind of afraid to look like a complete idiot, not managing to win with an exchange and a couple of rooks up. Black is in checkmate. Hammer time. Making it look easy to beat Leela, says Helmut, with the PogChamp. We can't see your username or your opponent's name. Yeah, it's because I'm playing on the Leela Zero website. It's at, I can post the link to where I'm playing. play.lc0.org. That's where I'm playing. Right now, this was the hard difficulty, 400 nodes. And honestly, I have the impression if I repeat the same moves, the exact same moves, you can replay the same game. But I guess that's not her fault. That's a programming thingy, maybe. Loudon says this is no hard mode, is it? I don't know. It's hard 400 nodes. Leela is not learning during the game, says Erdo. That's why it repeats the game always. The website is showing something Russian. Really? But this is the exact same link as what I'm playing at. Okay, maybe I made a mistake doing play.lc0. Is it possible to analyze the game? Asks Eilertsen. No, I don't think so. Well, I mean, I can open my other window and do the analysis. So yeah, I think this is a good introduction to the engine, and now I'm gonna switch to a different thing that I had in mind, and that is using Leela Zero as an engine for opening analysis and stuff like that, which is something I'm very interested in. Having been a second at World Championship matches, I'm curious as to whether this is going to be a thing in the future. So I have managed to install Leela Zero with in the kind of normal chess software. This is the Komodo 10 software, which I think is basically it's a chess engine. And it looks very much like ChessBase. I tried installing it on ChessBase, but it didn't work. This is basically the same thing from the same company, and you can input moves and you get feedback from the engines. And I have put Stockfish next to Leela Zero to see which engine is well, kind of just to be able to see the differences on the engines. Yes, I have the O7 client. I can change to the O8 client next. But I set this up a couple of days ago, and the new version came yesterday. So Leela Zero is running on GPU. It should be, at least. That's why I tried programming it. But it's still, I still think that CPU, I don't know, it's basically not using any CPU. If I check my my task manager, it's Leela Zero, even though I'm giving it 8 CPUs, it doesn't use any of them. So Leela is supposed to be running on the GPU. I'm gonna take some opening requests, actually. So if there's an opening you want me to check, I'm happy to do so. You must set up the INI file from Leela. The fry deliver attack. Okay, that's a good suggestion from Groger. Let's do the fry deliver attack. Let's see if I remember what the fry deliver attack even is. So knight g4, d5 takes, and then takes back. So the fry deliver attack is supposed to be knight takes f7. But as far as I remember, knight takes f7 is not so good. You should play d4 first. But I always forget the differences here. So Stockfish having some major objections to this black opening, whereas Leela is, well, I guess she's trying to figure things out. So this is one of the key differences, which I don't understand at all. and that is the fact that Leela is at 0 kilonodes per second, which basically, as I understand it, means that she is not looking at a lot of moves, um, and yet getting pretty accurate evaluations. Whereas Stockfish is at 8,000 kilonodes per second, which is insane. Azure says that what matters is not Klein '08 or Klein '07. What matters is the network version. So I think I downloaded the 24042 version. So it's recently up to date. Erdo says Leela is horrible in tactical positions. So it makes no sense to analyze a sharp line. Yeah, no, I mean my problem with the Leela at the moment is that I don't trust it. And I cannot work with an engine I don't trust. Also, I think it's very interesting about Stockfish compared to other engines like Houdini and Komodo. For instance, Komodo has some evaluations that are more accurate than Stockfish. For instance, Komodo has a better understanding of the queen's value and when to let the queen go than Stockfish. But the thing is, I can never change from Stockfish because it's so fast initially. Very often, the move Stockfish suggests the first couple of seconds is a really good move. And so those positional considerations I'm happy to do myself because I'm just looking for, when doing analysis, I'm looking for an engine that's going to sear through the tactics, the stuff that I have no chance to do. Whereas some of the positional considerations I want to do myself. Which is why I prefer engines that's mainly tactical, because those engines are going to give me, well, it's going to complement my abilities the best way. You are running her on CPU now, not on GPU. I think that's wrong. I think I'm running her on GPU. I'm pretty sure. But I don't really know how to tell. I can go in my task manager and I can see that, well, of course, my streaming software is taking a lot of the GPU. And then, yeah, no, actually now I might be running her on CPU. How do I? But where's the Stockfish? The Stockfish should take some CPU as well. I tried setting her up for CPU for the GPU, which is supposed to be the most effective. But let's just say that this software is not very consumer friendly at the moment. So I'm gonna have some trouble setting it up. It might be better to use CPU if your GPU is not a beast, says Azure. Yeah, so my GPU isn't a beast. So I might just as well use CPU if that's what I'm doing. What does GPU mean? Asks Apapelium. And Wandering Winder answers graphical processing unit. It's basically what I know as the graphics card. And this, to me, this was also always the part of when ordering a new laptop. It was always the part where I just went, man, what is this thing? I don't even know what it does. Let's just take something, and I want the best, meanest processor you have. And I'm not gonna care about anything else. But recent events in the world, in the chess world, and with the self-learning engines, have made me realize that okay, GPU is a thing, and it's gonna be important for the future. CLE comments that when I run it on GPU, she still uses only 2 kilonodes per second. So my not that great GPU is not gonna have a chance to max that. But the point being that even with setup with GPU, this number, the kilonodes per second, is not very high. I love that there's people in the chat who tries to explain to me what stuff is going on. You can say yourself, I'm never gonna understand how computers work. But if there are some people in chat who finds this interesting, you really should let people know, because I think there's a lot of helpful people here right now who's happy to explain this to us. iRush, for instance, how do you set it up? That is a big question. I spent like 4 hours trying to set it up and I didn't manage. And then I got in touch with my friend, and after some trying and failing, I think I got there. I think I managed to set it up. At the very least, I managed to set it up like this. So some points to consider. Chessbase doesn't work. I don't know why, but Chessbase doesn't work. You cannot make the UCI engine in Chessbase. You have to make it in the Fritz software. And the Fritz software you get with any engine you buy from Chessbase, like Komodo, Fritz, Houdini, all of these things. Erdo asks, are you using table-based with your engine? I have no idea, so I'm guessing no. I don't even know how to install a table base on Stockfish, so I guess I don't know how to do it for Leela 0. Lost Notebook, thank you for doing the stream. You could have asked us. Yeah, no, I did, but the person I asked on Discord didn't have time and didn't refer me to anyone else. I'm assuming at some point they're gonna try to figure out how to do it on Chessbase. But for now, if you want to make it happen today, Chessbase didn't work for me, and it's probably not gonna work for you either. Yeah, and there's some, you have to go to this Leela website and download some files and stuff. And the second thing I struggled with was, number one, I wanted to get it in Chessbase and it just couldn't be done. Number two, I needed to change the name of the network to weights.txt. And that took me a couple of hours to figure out. Yeah, the explanation seems fine on the website. NJ Greg has posted the link to Chessbase for the guide on how to set it up. You can also, I think, you might as well use the Leela Chess 0 guide on how to set it up. That's the one I used. Leela checkmated me and she thinks her expected score is 98%. Okay, so we've given both engines some time to think. Leela is saying that it's not really that clear what's going on. She wants to sacrifice on f7. And Stockfish is very big on... I'm gonna lock these engines. Stockfish is very big on, well, either move really, but d4 is what I thought was supposed to be the best move. So we're gonna do copy all to notation to make sure that this is not lost. And then we're going to do copy all to notation here as well. So let's go through the lines. D4. So Stockfish suggests D4 as number 1, but I'm running Stockfish on 2 different lines, whereas Leela 0 is just suggesting 1. So we should go into this D4 line and see what Leela 0 says about it. Apopilium. I'm copying these hammer analysis in the D5 Queen's Indian defenses. Yeah, no, I started out, when I tested this, I thought that the Alpha Zero engine had some really impressive games as white in the Queen's Indian defense. So I wanted to try to replicate that with the Leela 0, but I couldn't really get it to work. Okay, so D4. Let's see what our new friend is saying. Stiley asks, "What's the ID you're using?" I'm using something 42, 242, I think, which is the one I downloaded on Monday or something. Give it a couple of months, says James Red, and then we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so Leela is going into some heavy tactics, and I cannot understand what's going on here. So I'm gonna get back Stockfish, which I switched off by accident, I would say. Let's get that guy in here and see if he can sort this out. So we can see that Stockfish says this is massively in White's favor, whereas Leela 0 is unsure about the consequences. So B5, Bishop D3, H6, and now both guys seems to want to go knight takes F7. I guess this is the most interesting, to compare the engines running, getting them to go against each other essentially, and trying to figure out which one is evaluating the correctly. Crazy position, says Albuquerque. Yeah, I agree. Stuff is going on right here. I guess we're gonna go with, well, I can copy both to notation, and then we can look at them one at a time. So let's check this one first. Takes back, takes on D4, Bishop B4 check. Leela is initially going that this is pretty okay for black, and not even initially, she's still thinking black is okay. We need to go in between something on D2. And now this is interesting. Stockfish had Bishop D2 as its first choice, and now it evaluated Bishop D2 back down. Okay, to me it's not really clear what happens here. There's the double attack on both bishops. Okay, so we cannot do that. Leela going that this is close to being a good position for black. Let's see, Bishop E4. Queen takes D4. Queen B3. This is very interesting. Okay, so Stockfish was saying this is extremely good for white the whole time, whereas Leela was open to the possibility of it being good for black. But she changed her mind, and now she's happy to say this is good for white as well. It's a bit laggy. I'm used to being able to make moves quicker, but I think that's because I'm streaming. So the streaming is taking some CPU and some GPU, which is making my board feel a bit laggy. So I'm not able to input moves as quickly as I am used to. So we see once again, this is actually interesting. Leela, once we go back, she doesn't change her mind. This is very interesting to me. She doesn't change her mind. Having gone into that variation, she keeps the same evaluation as before we went into it. And that is one of the things about Stockfish and other chess engines, is that, as I understand it, because of the hash table, I don't know what that is, but I know the word for it. Because of that, Stockfish is able to learn from what happens on the board. So if there's a line that we go through inputting the moves, and it realizes 5 moves into the variation that this is just good for white, then it's going to know at the beginning of that variation to avoid that for black, or say that's good for white. Whereas Leela is still thinking this is okay for black. So she didn't learn anything from the line we just entered. So she still wants to go queen takes d4. And after queen b3, now she realizes. And when I go back, even after she realized on the other move, she still doesn't understand that this is a losing. Okay, to me that is very helpful for understanding the engine. Because I'm so used to Stockfish learning within the game that, okay, this line I should avoid, we went through that, and so on and so forth. Does Stockfish learn for live or for this evaluation, asks Nyango. It learns for this variation. Well, it learns for as long as I have the program up, I think. So it uses internal RAM to remember, as far as I understand. But somebody correct me in chat if I'm wrong. It just remembers the evaluation because it's keeping all the evaluations on RAM, says DDG. Yeah, and apparently that is extremely helpful because Stockfish knows that this line is good for white. We can see that Leela thinks black is better, and the moment I input queen b3, it changes its mind and it realizes that white is in a good position. So that is a big step in favor of Stockfish, because essentially when you're doing opening analysis and being a second and stuff like that, your job is to input moves so that the computer calculates further ahead. And you input moves and you try to see, is this line something? And then the computer will discover that this is great, you should go for this, or this is horrible, you should really avoid this. And then you go back and you start again, and you go back and you start again. And And so the thing that the computer, because right now I want Leela at this moment, I want Leela to focus on some other move because it doesn't understand that it has already found out the consequences of this queen takes d4 move, and it needs to evaluate other moves, which means that I'm gonna manually have to remember which lines to go for and which to avoid, which I guess is not that big of a problem, but it's a difference compared to the current Stockfish engine. So I can go Y. Y to have the next best move. Apparently not. Can I increase the number of lines? No, I cannot. Okay, I don't know what I did, but suddenly Leela is at 43 kilonodes per second. That can't be right. Did I mess up? At the very least, takes, gives a check, realizes that it's losing. Groger says that the developers are more interested in making her better before developing too many features. Yeah, that sounds fair. That sounds fair. I want to get going immediately, of course, but it does make sense that she needs to be a little bit stronger. Because she's missing this queen b3 move. Fraggy, we had the discussion earlier. I'm not sure whether it's CPU or GPU. I tried running it on GPU. I'm not sure I managed because I am not a tech genius. It should be GPU, I think, but my graphics card is not that great anyhow. So CPU is fine enough. Okay, it's back to 1. Which to me is a good thing because it means it's back to where it's supposed to be. Leela can't think on opponent's time. Sure she can. I mean, if it was white to move now, and it is, and she's thinking. She's only like 2,800 rated, so she's not very useful as an evaluation engine yet, says Groger. Okay, Erdo says Leela does not have ponder mode. I don't know what that means. She can ponder here, which is, I don't really care about Leela playing games. I care about how she can help me do my job. So I don't understand the computer against computer kind of thing, but as long as she can think in my analysis board, that's the only thing I need. Jill Baita says that there's a possibility that as her evaluation function improves, she won't need hash tables. Maybe, but I think for human use, let's say, it would be useful. If I understand it, that hash tables are kind of remembering the previously done analysis. then for a human consumption, it would be interesting. It's really cool with all these engines being very, very strong. But in the end, what I'm interested in is how it can help humans play chess, not who is the strongest chess engine on the planet in computer competitions. So whether or not a computer is good at time management is not really something I'm interested in. Whether a computer is, yeah, I don't know what to use as an example, but I care about the analysis mode because that's how it gets used, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe some people are playing computers against each other, but the normal way to consume chess engines is to have it analyze. So that's going to be a very important, the most important feature. Galu says that mate search is currently pretty bad, and that I find really interesting, that comment, because I remember going through some games of the Google what's it called, the Google engine, and I remember thinking, man, the conversion is so bad. So I'm thinking this is kind of one of the features of this new technique, that it's not very good at finding the quickest way to give checkmate in winning position. Alpha Zero, yes, thank you, chat. Okay, so bishop e4 here is good. And that means we busted this line, I suppose. Yeah, because now if Leela 0 could kind of remember the analysis we had already done, the evaluation in this position would be very, very different. Let's check this queen h5 move as well. Queen h5, h takes. Leela is evaluating it at 0. Stockfish is at 0.7. And 0.7 is a pretty big advantage. Stockfish wants to go e4, which looks like a complete mess. But Leela wants to go knight e6. So for the purposes of this stream, I guess we're following the neural network recommendation. Stockfish would like to castle his king. And then queen d7. Queen d7. How can this be a good move? And Stockfish, after thinking for a little bit, gets queen d7 up there. Queen d7. How can... Wow. I guess you're just preparing bishop b7 without losing this pawn. So queen d7 makes a lot of sense if you can get... Had the bishop been on b7 already, it would have been the obvious move to do. So just because you do this and then this, it looks strange to me. Okay, so Stockfish is saying both bishop f5 and a4 is good. Let's go for bishop f5, because that is also Leela's main recommendation. Bishop b7, queen back to h3. Stockfish making some winning, thinks it's winning, whereas Leela has a bad trend. Leela started out at 0.0, and for every move we make, it drops 0.2. Let's castle. And then a4. Stockfish wants. A4. We're gonna take that one. Take on G5. Knight D to F4. Sylvain is in the chat, says lol at the 0 kilonodes per second. Yeah. No, it's extreme, right? Stockfish at 10,000 and this is at 0. It's not working out for the Leela 0 engine right now, but it's going to be interesting to follow for the future. I want to do a quick poll of the chat. Do you believe that at the moment there's anything the Leela chess engine can do better than Stockfish? Because maybe we'll try to find a position that we think Leela would be able at evaluating. Groger with the big nay in the chat. Staley suggests perhaps early in the opening. Yeah, so Stockfish without an opening book is not that great. That is true. So without the opening book, maybe, yeah, maybe the first 3-4 couple of moves. Not right now, it's still a work in progress, says CC Catch. If you run her with 0 kilonodes per second, it can't, says CLE. Well, how many, if you say so, how many kilonodes per second do you think Leela would need to be able to compete with Stockfish? And then the follow-up question is, would that kind of setup be available for consumers? Because I mean, I realize my graphic card is not great, but even with one of the top of the line graphics card, I'm assuming it would only be like 8, 9, 10 times better. She needs a bit tree net, not the kilonodes. Okay, I have no idea what that means. Google was running at 80,000 nodes or 80,000 kilonodes. That's insane. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be calling the Titan 5 or the Titan V a consumer graphics card. Stockfish 0. You need a Titan 5, says also Swarmed. Okay. Yeah, in that case, it's just not gonna happen for the next couple of months, right? That's too much of a high-end graphics card for people to use in everyday life. Probably some months away, says Wandering Winder. Erdo has tried Leela on a 1080 Ti. I don't know what to call that graphics card. I actually ordered this one. 1080 Ti. I'm gonna try to upgrade my graphics card. With these developments in the chess world, I want to keep up to speed. She needs better nets, says Lost Notebook. So better nets, to translate that to a technical ignoramus, that means that she needs more practice games, right? Because when I download the networks gets better and better the more practice games. So when you say she needs better nets, you mean she needs more practice games. Groger says that a 1080 Ti graphics card should give 10 kilonodes. Yeah, but is that gonna make a huge difference? Is also a question, right? How much a difference does it make between 0 and 10? Presumably it's about 10 times better, right? But 10 is also ridiculously low. I mean, I'm gonna have Stockfish with 10,000 and this one is gonna be with 10. And it's just fascinating how different techniques they use. Because I mean, Leela is not great, but it's still decent. And it's being decent with 10. On the other hand, nodes per second in my head is less than 1. So I guess to a certain degree we understand that you can come to the level of chess understanding where the amount of moves you can calculate isn't the biggest factor. Because chess players do okay with their brains at times. Road trip to the Oslo University suggests Laffen. Yeah, maybe. Are you saying that the university has good computers and are researching stuff like this? Erdo says wait until July and it's gonna be the 1180 Ti. Okay, I already ordered. But it's coming in July, and somebody was saying that there would be a better one. I will consider canceling my order, but then Erdo should give me more information on the 1180 Ti. What does graphics card have to do with AI thinking ability, asks Gizmo. That is a good question. That, I guess that is what we're discussing. That is the development right now, that these new self-learning machines use neural nets, which I don't really understand what that is, but I have understood that it's an important phrase to learn. So I know some of the words right now, but I don't know how it all works. Which is basically my my feeling about computers at all. Aquila in the chat with some human faith. Leela needs Hammer to coach her. Yeah, no, I could learn and teach her a thing or two. I think the opening I did in my text test game initially at the beginning of the stream. Do not let your opponent put knights on d5 that easily. That would be the first lesson. Yeah, there's a lot of technical explanations in the chat. And Gizmo is saying thank you. I didn't understand anything of what's being said. Tech asks, do you contribute to Leela? I tried. I tried doing the Google collaboration thing, but I'm having some trouble with it. So there's this thing you can use your Google account to give Leela computing power via the Google servers. But it's shutting down for me after like it works for half an hour and then it got shut down, and it worked for half an hour and got shut down, and then at some point I got tired of restarting it all the time. I had the username Hammer. I had like 30 practice games maybe. What is your current network? I think it's 242 or 142 or something with 42. I downloaded my network earlier this week. Lost Notebook asks, the fact that she's playing like a human, could that mean she works as a sparring partner? I don't know, maybe? Maybe. I did some practice games at the beginning of the stream and I managed to beat her. So at her current strength, I guess she could be a sparring partner. But on the other hand, I'm not sure I would agree calling her moves human. Because some of the blunders she did, I mean, she's essentially playing bullet chess when you're playing against her on the Leela website. And if you were to make her stronger, then maybe she would be too strong for it to be fun to play against. So there's a very difficult balance between being just the right amount of strength, being not so strong that you actually have a chance, but also being so strong that you can learn something as a sparring partner. If you're just gonna play a couple of blitz games, you might as well play against some humans instead of Leela. If the argument is that she plays like a human, honestly, there's not a lack of human opposition to get on the internet. I'm way behind in chat. I'm gonna read through chat and see if there's... What is the card you order? I ordered the 1080 Ti. I just thought there's no use in waiting. Let's just get there and then maybe you can upgrade once again in 2 years. Because yes, maybe there's a new one in July that's good, but then there's gonna be a new one the July after that that's even better. So you might as well just join the club as soon as possible. BJH suggests do not cancel your order. And Staley thinks that the 1180 will be extremely expensive. Yeah, but the one I bought was pretty expensive too. It cost the same price as a laptop, or actually two laptops. Uh, Azure is talking about a matrix vector multiplication and element-wise operation. I'm getting a headache just reading your comments. You would get crushed by Leela, says Arex. Yeah, no, I think Leela running at full strength, I have no chance. Which means it's also uninteresting to play against. For the practice thing on the website, I managed to get a win. So I guess maybe they should have one very hard difficulty beyond the one they already had. Maybe you should try stopping Stockfish and see if Leela performs better. Yeah, but then we don't have anything to compare against. I can stop Stockfish, but how am I then gonna know if Leela is performing better? Are we just gonna judge it by the kilonodes per second? Is that an accurate thing to measure and compare? James also agrees that I should go with the 1080 Ti. How would you pronounce that TI at the end? In Norwegian, it's T. But in English, I guess it's Thai. She's not really playing as a human though, says Groger. Maybe a bit more like a human than other engines. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. This catchphrase that it plays like a human, I'm not entirely sure I buy that. Because computers are still, I mean, say the practice games I played at the beginning of the stream, right? No human would allow me to put the knight on d5 like that. And the only way she managed to get a good advantage is that she played some trickery with the queen and got in with the rook and so on and so forth. So I'm still outplaying it positionally at very low levels. And if that's what we're judging like human play, then it's just the same as any other engine. In fact, Stockfish wouldn't allow me to do that because Stockfish is already so strong at pretty low levels that its positional understanding has improved a lot. I agree, says the Music Dan. Her play is different from Stockfish, but not necessarily human. What GPU do you have? Right now, I'm rocking the 750 Ti, or T, 750. My computer is 4 years old, and as is my graphics card. Yeah, so it's time for an upgrade. That's also why I bought it, because I think it makes sense buying a new graphics card instead of buying a new computer. The Leela bot on Lichess is much better than their website. Okay, I might check that out. I dig this hairstyle, says CC Catch. Yeah, thank you. It's my let's see what's going on hairstyle. Isolda asks, why does Leela play games against itself instead of training by playing against Stockfish? There's going to be more knowledgeable people than me to answer that question. But I think in general, it's about knowing what to compare the strength against, I think. So that by playing against itself, it knows that I am stronger now than I was in this version. So basically, I think that's how you develop Stockfish as well. Honestly, you make some tiny chances, and then you have Stockfish play tons of games against itself, the previous version. You have the new version against the previous version. The difference is really, really tiny, but you have it play tons of games against each other, and then whichever version wins is the stronger version, and then you either implement this suggested improvement or you scrap it. Wandering Winder says no. I'm guessing that's a no to a comment I made way back, which means I'm way behind on chat. I'm scrolling down the chat trying to check out if there's anything interesting I can respond to. I'm way behind you guys right now. Wandering Winder says that kilonodes per second is not an apples to apples comparison. So yeah, I kind of figured, but it's still, it says something, right? The fact that Stockfish has 10,000 whereas Leela 0 has 0, or at least less than 1, is interesting. What interface is this? Asks Jumpin' Jackson. This is a chess-based interface, but it's not the chess-based program. It's the Fritz chess program. I tried installing Leela 0 as a UCI engine on chess-based, and it didn't work. TI. Individual letters. Okay, I will keep that in mind. The 1080 Ti. The Ti stands for titanium. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I do find it funny that people keep calling Leela a she. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, in Norwegian, for instance, it's very similar to Leila, which is a female name. Whereas something like Stockfish is an it, right? It's a fish, and it can be male and it can be female. So I think one of the main reasons for calling her a she is that it's, a lot of people will think it's a feminine name. $9K is a lot of money, Hammer, says Alafen. Yeah, no, and I paid more than that. At the benchmark, you can see the difference you get between 750 and 1080. Yeah. No, I looked at some benchmark websites and it said that I could get 8 times better performance. So I thought, yeah, it's a good idea to upgrade. The just got out of bed look, says Dean. Yeah, that's my go-to look. Aquila, how do you think the Leela would do in Fortnite? I don't know, but I'm guessing that if I upgrade my graphics card with the excuse that I need it for Leela and similar chess projects, then it's also gonna help me in Fortnite. This is a good question from Alex. Does anyone know how it makes the evaluation? I thought it just knew its own win percentage. So that's a very good question. How do you go from the win percentage to the UCI engine standard of having numerals? That's a very good question. I'm wondering if someone in chat has the answer to that. Tech says that 1080 Ti Gaming 10 edition is the best for Leela. I will check what it is I ordered. I feel like I ordered something that sounds a lot like that. Fritz is a male name, and I never thought to call Fritz a he. Yeah, that's a good argument. That's a good counter argument. And Alex goes that Fritz isn't artificial intelligence, but Leela is. So because it's more human, we give it more of a human she than it. I don't know. I think that's a stretch. So you would get 0 kilonodes times 8 is 0 kilonodes. No, but the thing is, it's not 0. I think it's just lower than 1. So a kilonode is 1,000 nodes. So having the 0 here just means that I have a less than 1,000 nodes per second. But probably it can be 900 and still say 0. I'm assuming. It's a fancy conversion formula that converts the win percentage to that number. Yeah, no, I know that at TV2 we do the opposite. So we take the number and then we make it into a percentage. When we're doing chess broadcasts on Norwegian television. But I don't think they do it in a very good way. So it's nice to have the percentages, but I feel that the draw percentage we have on TV2 is massively exaggerated. And if it was easy to fix, we would have fixed it. Ooh, and Noma actually posts the formula in the chat. Wow. Yeah, I dropped out of economics because the math got too tough. So I'm not gonna even try to do this formula. Okay, I'm at the end of chat. I never thought it was going to happen, but I have read through the entirety of chat. I'm ready for a new opening to explore. If someone has an opening to explore, we're going to go for it. BJH asks, are you using the Fritz 16 interface. I have no idea. I opened Komodo 10. I think it said that it was the Fritz 15 interface. I'm not sure whether that makes a difference. King's Gambit, that's an excellent suggestion from both Styly and Maitleaner. Yeah, no, that's a good suggestion. King's Gambit, why not? Let's go old school on this guy or girl. Okay, so Leela wants to take the free pawn. I guess that makes a lot of sense. Are we gonna follow Leela's black move recommendation or her white moves? I think we're gonna see if Stockfish manages to beat Leela. So let's follow Stockfish's recommendations and see what happens against Leela then. So let's go knight f3. Leela wants to go g5. Wow, so aggressive. So aggressive play. g5, why not? And Stockfish wants to go knight c3. I think d4 is the recommended move. d4, and then if g4, you just sacrifice this piece. Leela wants to go g4. Okay. I think you might end up in trouble. No, g4 is okay. Stockfish says knight e5. Okay, we'll play knight e5. Ooh, Leela wants to give a check, and Stockfish is massively against this check. We're gonna give her some more time. Do you want to change your mind? You're changing the evaluation, but you're still pretty confident. No, you changed your move. Leela changed her mind. She doesn't want to give a check anymore. She wants knight c6. Okay, that's fine. We'll do that. Stockfish only move, knight takes g4, it says. Now Leela wants to give a check, but the evaluation is going a little bit down in white's favor. Going back, only move. Bishop c5, possibly only move. d4, only move. I understand that maybe I should be questioning what's going on the board, but this is how this is what I'm used to. The computer's having some insane variation and me not asking too many questions. I know that the computer is almost always right, so I don't really question it. Old theory, I have seen this line, says Liam. Really? I have, yeah, okay. I am not up to speed on my King's Gambit acceptance. But this does look like a very nice position for black, in my opinion. Bishop takes, because look at this square on e5. Such a good square. To me, this looks better for black. And this is interesting. Stockfish thinks it's equal, whereas Leela thinks it's better for black. So we're on the same page, Leela and I. You die says, did you study computer science? You sound like an expert. Thank you. I do my best to sound good all the time. But most of the time I'm just making stuff up. Okay, knight g5. I guess bishop back, sure. And now castles. Stockfish is saying his position is better. Leela is still saying that black is better. And I still think black is better. So this is going to be an interesting situation where we have a position that the computers are not evaluating the same way. Leela giving itself an advantage, whereas Stockfish is saying that if anyone's better, it's white. Stockfish is mean at tactics, but I do agree that this feels like a better position for black, and maybe Stockfish realizes that there are some tactical things in the position that's giving white okay chances after all. Okay, back with the queen. I still think black is better, and my program kind of having some issues. Leela suggesting bishop c4, but in a bad sign, Leela now evaluates this as very slightly better for white. That's not a great sign. Bishop c4, queen e1. Leela did a good job in this opening, says Silva. Who plays the King's Gambit decline, says CC Catch. I'm going to show you afterwards. I'm going to show you my specialty line in the King's Gambit. And then you're going to see some crazy King's Gambit decline stuff. Okay, Leela wants to castle. And Stockfish with g3. No, takes. Probably it's not going to make a huge difference. Let's take. Taking back with the a-pawn makes sense. Stockfish wants to take this one. Takes back. And just king b1. Wow. Once again, Leela thinks that it's better, and Stockfish thinks that it's much better. Okay, let's do king b1. Leela with queen g5, being very greedy, going after the pawn on g2. Queen b4 from Stockfish. What software is this? Asks Thu Lester. This is the Fritz software from ChessBase, not to be confused with the ChessBase software from ChessBase. So I didn't manage to install Leela 0 as a UCI engine in ChessBase, but I did manage in the Fritz software. Oh, you're asking about the engines. It's Stockfish 9 on the left hand side and the Leela 0 version 0.7 on the right. Okay, at this point even Leela is saying that maybe white is better. But now Stockfish is going back from its statement that white was better, and now it's back to equal. But I think I followed the main moves. Yeah, no, we cannot tell now, but when I did the king b1 move, Stockfish was giving a 0.4 advantage. But now it has changed its mind because Stockfish is learning while it's thinking. or it's learning in the same game, so that when you go back, it starts thinking about other moves because it has realized that the king b1 line was not that effective. But when I did king b1, it was the top choice. It gave point 0.4, and now it's back to 0. So both engines changing up their evaluation a little bit. But Stockfish definitely here in this moment gave Leela some credit in terms of saying that this position is equal, whereas just a couple of moves ago I thought it was better for white. Wild Honey Bear, I started 1.5 hours ago. If you become a subscriber to my channel, you can see the video on demand. And otherwise, I'm probably going to put it out on YouTube in a couple of weeks. And we got 1 kilonode per second, says Stylee. Yeah, Leela showing her strength. Increasing her nodes. Let's see the 0.8 Leela then, says Wild Honey Bear. As I understand it, the client version doesn't make that much of a difference. It's the network, the things that it has learned that makes a bit of a difference. So my network is a couple of days old, and it's really fascinating. On Twitter, I added this Leela Chess Zero account, and it gives basically throughout the day, it says that now we're going to get a new network in 5 hours, and they're making almost 2 new networks every single day as it gets more training games and gets upgraded. The weights, says Yuki. Newest client fixes some bugs, says Groger. Okay, but it just came out yesterday, and I set up this for this stream a couple of days ago, so I didn't have the time to change. Who would you prefer in this position? White? Question mark, says Wild Honey Bear. I don't really know. I think white is a little bit better. I preferred black's position when it was all about this square on e5. But right now I think black is gonna have to play f5 at some moment, trying to exchange off this, and then white will have a majority on the king side. Probably it's just equal. Yeah, probably it's just equal. But I would say white, if he manages to stop this f5 in a good way, then probably white should be a little bit better. It managed to draw Stockfish 9 once, which is pretty impressive, says Yuki. I don't think that's very impressive. Chess is a very drawish game. If you're not able to draw Stockfish, you're in trouble. I mean, with normal time controls, even humans with the white pieces should be able to make a couple of draws against stockfish. The current level is not important. The potential improvement is, says Sylvain. And the potential improvement is huge. Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess that's what's interesting about this, right? And it's why I'm spending time trying to understand how the system works. It's not because it's going to be useful right now, but I'm just going to put it out there. There's a world championship match starting in, well, basically 9 months on the, no, 6 months on the day. And Leela is going to improve a lot in 6 months, as far as I understand. And also, as the project gets publicity, it's going to get better faster, right? So it might not be competitive right now, but it's going to be interesting to see where it is in 5 months. 2 months from zero to drawing stockfish is impressive. You can't deny that, says Yuki. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think we should use time frames like this because that is what Google did, right? It said that we defeated stockfish in 4 hours. So that time frame is only dependent on the software and hardware and what you have available. So I don't think we should use time frames like that to say 2 months to draw stockfish. Well, if someone had better hardware, then probably you could uh, use less than 2 months. It might be the primary training engine for opening preparation in just a few months, says Wild Honey Bear. Yeah, I seriously doubt it, but it's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe. It depends on how strong it becomes and how user friendly it becomes. Because when you want opening analysis and stuff like that, then idiots like me are gonna use it, and we're gonna need some guidance. We're gonna make it. It needs to be very easy to set up, and it needs to have some. Probably it needs to have some kind of features, like maybe the hash table. If it works, if it improves the engine, you might need to give it some extra stuff to be competitive. Okay, I'm done with this game. Both engines are now saying it's equal. So I'm gonna give a small point here for Leela. At some point, Stockfish was giving itself zero point 0.4 evaluations, and Leela never really wavered from zero point 0.0. So some credit to Leela there, but it was a very strange position. I'm gonna go to my the anti King's Gambit line I played as a kid. Knight c6, knight f3, and then f5. I often had a lot of fun with this line. I love this line with f5, says Sylvain. CC catch is going interesting! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! It's fun, if nothing else. Let's. I think we're gonna give Leela the white pieces and see how it fares against Stockfish. So Leela wants to take this guy, and then E4 is the go-to move. Knight E5 is best. And now I might overrule Stockfish actually. Because Knight F6 is not how I play it. Maybe it's how I should play it. It's judging from Stockfish's suggestion here. But the way I play it is Knight takes E5. Takes back and then Queen E7. I don't remember where I saw this line. I guess I read it in a book somewhere. But it's fun. Okay, I see Stockfish is suggesting a very, very interesting line I have never seen before, but it makes a ton of sense. I'm gonna go check out this actually. Because d4 has been played before, and then bishop takes d3. I think I even played in a game. But queen h5, king to the moving into d8, and then now bishop g5 is countered with knight f6, and there's no problem. Actually, black is doing very, very well with the pawn on e5 in trouble, as well as threatening the white queen. But here Stockfish is suggesting queen g5, which maybe it's just refuting the line altogether. That's a very cool move. Queen g5. Yeah, you really need to take out this e5 pawn. So I'm gonna go knight f6. Stockfish is saying queen f4. I don't fully understand this. d6, yeah, we need to remove this pawn. And now e6 is a possibility. So what is the difference compared to... I'm not sure. Maybe g6 is not as effective because there's not a queen on h5 getting hit. So e6 is a move. And in this position, if bishop f4, then there's other tactics. Okay, so this queen maneuver is the only way to keep the pawn on e5 alive. That's interesting. Okay, maybe that's just the refutation. Leela wasn't very helpful in this thing, but at least you can see how opening analysis is done. I saw Stockfish suggesting a very interesting line. I went into it, and here we are. Black in massive amounts of trouble. Maybe knight d5. Yeah, queen e4, that's a good move. Okay, so I learned something today. My pet King's Gambit is in trouble. I might need to play some more normal lines against the King's Gambit. Halvar says that I saw you play this against a friend of mine like 15 years ago. Yeah, no. I beat an international master, I remember, in this line with the black pieces when I was not an international master. Do you play this line over the board? Asks Stiley. Not for a couple of years. Not for 13 years. But I've played it a bit in internet chess once in a while. Okay, so but Stockfish was suggesting knight f6. Maybe we can rehabilitate the line. That would be good. Stockfish giving a major preference for knight c3. Okay. And then Leela suggests d6. Let's go for that. Let's trust Leela on this. Maybe Leela is understanding this better than Stockfish. That's basically what we're doing right here. Testing out positions where the engines are evaluating things very differently. Okay, it's not a good sign to start out now. Leela went from 0.2 to 0.4 over the course of the last couple of moves. On the other hand, Stockfish has gone down from 0.8 to 0.4. So both engines are kind of converging on the same evaluation after some time. And that can be pretty useful because that means that as long Leela's 0 doesn't need to be correct. It just needs to have an awareness that there's something here to explore, and then you can have Stockfish determine whether or not it's good. So Leela was correct that Stockfish was overestimating his position, but on the other hand, Leela was underestimating White's position. So Leela was evaluating this as 0.2, Stockfish was at 0.8, and now they're both converging on 0.45. Staley asks, how's your fantasy team going? Probably the most important round of the season, this one. Yeah, no, I was up on top 1,000 in the world, and I was pretty happy. Then I had some bad weeks, and I decided I do not care. And it's gone horribly the past couple of weeks. I had Sanchez triple captain. I had Sanchez on my team for this round, discovering Friday afternoon after I had already taken a hit. I discovered that Sanchez is not playing against Brighton. So I had to hit out Sanchez. So I'm on a minus 12 this week. It's not going well. It's not going well. Yeah. I have Ryan. 8 points for Ryan. That's something. What software is this and how do I get it? Says Megat. So there's two different pieces of software. The important part is the Leela Chess Zero engine running on the bottom right, which is open source and you can try downloading it through their website. Although it's pretty difficult to get it set up correctly. The software as the interface, the thing that makes it look good visually is the ChessBase Fritz 15 something. So ChessBase is very common among chess players, but running the Leela engine in ChessBase did not work for me and did not work for others. So you need to set it up in the Fritz 15 software instead of ChessBase. How are the Norway Gnomes doing? Says Dean Bass. Yeah, no, we got knocked out of the Pro Chess League. Simon Williams is buying a GPU as well to become the leading theoretician in the world, says Udai. Good for him. So many chess players buying GPUs. Nvidia should sponsor our project, says Tech. This stuff is over my head, says CatchCC. I don't think you get the chance to play against 20 against the King's Gambit too much when you're 2600 FIDE, says Swing Choppa. Yeah, no, that is correct. I play quite a bit of E5 and I almost never face the King's Gambit. Okay, we have given the engine some time to think. Stockfish is moving up to 0.65. Leela 0 is moving down actually to 0.37. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to say over the next couple of moves. So let's take on E4. Leela wants to give a check. We're going to go down to F2. G6, the top choice. Stockfish preferring H5. I guess we're gonna go with G6. C4. Ooh. But the thing is, when you go into looking at the lines being recommended, I notice, looking at this, I notice that Stockfish wants to trade queens and giving itself an advantage. And that's something I want to be attentive to. That if Stockfish feels it gets an advantage after exchanging queens, that's something to be careful about. Leela wants to avoid the queen swap. That's interesting. And just play on in this position. And who knows what's going on here? White is a pawn up, but his king is not great. Black has an open b file, an open diagonal, better development. Leela thinks she's okay. Stockfish thinks he's better. I don't know. I guess we're gonna follow this just for kicks. H6, trying to open up more lines for the rooks. Stockfish making 0.5. 1.5 versus 0. I think this is the biggest difference we've had between the engines. It's not a good sign that Leela is going up from 0.1 to 0.3. Bishop G7 makes a lot of sense. G6? I don't know. Stockfish could be wrong about this. Because G6, H5, you're kind of blocking all your active possibilities. Yes, the pawn on G6 looks good. This is very interesting. I think Stockfish might be misevaluating this. Because you don't really have any... There's nothing in Black's position you can attack. He's giving a very good evaluation thanks to the fact that you're going to get a protected passed pawn on G6. But I'm not sure that's going to make a big difference. This is what happens when you just analyze openings. Suddenly you stumble upon something interesting. It's never going to happen in a game, but it makes perfect sense for comparing the engines up against each other. My Anno, I suggest using version 8 as it now supports a endgame table base. Okay, I'm gonna go on the Discord and try to figure out how you use a table base, because I don't actually know how to do that. Staley is saying something about a video. Have you ever played the Simon Williams trade market shite gambit? I don't think so. I try to play good openings. I'll leave the bad openings to Simon. Table base isn't really relevant though, says Kroger, isn't it? Because the Alpha Zero was having so many table base hits really early on, already in the opening. So I don't know. Table base is such a powerful tool. If you can get that in there somehow, it might be useful. I told you Leela is too weak in tactics. Yeah, but this is positional play. I think Stockfish is massively underestimating Black's position. So I think it's very interesting to follow Leela here. And also notice that Leela hasn't corrected itself so much. So Leela started out at 0.10 and now it's at 0.2. It was at 0.1, now it's 0.2. And Stockfish is going down. I mean, Stockfish had both lines being 0.6. And now it's, well, Rook B1 is still 0.6, but after it gets done thinking on this move, I think Rook B1 is going to drop down to 1.1 as well. So trends is something you definitely look for when doing analysis. You notice whether or not the computer changes its mind compared to what it initially thought. Because if it does, it means going further into the line, it's discovering new opportunities for the opponent, which is basically what you're looking for when doing opening analysis. So you're being very, very of changes in evaluation. It's not good when I need to physically hold my web camera for it to give the good picture. Yeah, no, this is interesting. Let's copy to notation, copy to notation. Let's do both of that. I should have, never mind, I should have, okay, Rook B1, castles. We're gonna follow this out. In multi-variation mode, the engine doesn't use table-based position. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, but I don't have table-based installed anyhow, right? So at the moment, it doesn't matter giving myself two moves. Two options. Because normally I want to see what the alternative is. I don't only want to see what it thinks is the best move. I want to see if I can see any tempting alternatives. I guess we're gonna go Bishop G2. Leela wants Rook E8. We can give you that. Leela now thinks Black is better, and Stockfish is going down. Stockfish is dropping in evaluation. I'm actually gonna go B3. Seeing as how Stockfish dropped that much. Okay, so B3, Leela on Bishop B7. We can do that. Bishop B2 is presumably the plan. Okay, Rook G1. I'm not sure what the point of that is, just evacuating the diagonal. Why don't you want Bishop B2? It makes a lot of sense to do that. Okay, I guess we're following Stockfish. Bishop C4. And then Leela goes Rook A E8. This is something I noticed about Leela, that it rarely changes its mind, and that can be very useful. That can mean that its first choice, if it sticks with it all the time, that means it's gonna without thinking too much, we can be reasonably happy that it's certain about what it wants to do. Let's do bishop b2. Takes. King g7, yeah, to block the pawn, making sure that he doesn't have g7. That makes sense. b4 makes a lot of sense, trying to stop c5. Okay, I think white is making some progress. Stopping c5 was a big get. Maybe you shouldn't have taken on b2. Maybe you could have played c5. King c1. Yeah, Leela wasn't too happy about that. So now the king gets away quicker, but on the other hand, now you have the c5 to deal with. Okay, queen e7. King c1, that's fine. Now Leela wants queen f6. Stockfish wants to protect this pawn on g6. Going h5. And now rook e7. I like it, doubling the rooks on the e file. White is still has a strange coordination. Knight d1, clearly the first choice. Rook fe8. Okay, it's not a very good sign that Leela is going trending a bit up, but it's still standing around equal. But it's trending a little bit up. So it was at 0.1, now it's at 0.3. But there's still a big difference to Stockfish thinking it's completely winning. Rook f1. Not sure why this is so crucial, but I guess it's defending the pawn on f4. Leela started out wanting queen d4. Now it's changed its mind to rook e4, and it's trending further in favor of white. Very bad news. Now it's gone from 0.3 to 0.6. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was good for white. But it did seem like, to me, it did seem like that Stockfish was misevaluating. Yeah, now it's even further to 0.7. I thought maybe if you could get a knight here, you would manage to win this pawn, and if you win this pawn, you're also gonna win this pawn. But I guess what's happening right now is that you're not being able to keep your knight. Okay, so queen d4. Now both engines saying that white is much better. Bishop back to b3. That's quite the move. And now Leela goes bishop a6 is good. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes f1. Bishop takes c6. Yeah, I think Stockfish is in control here. Sacrificing the exchange, having the passed pawn on g6, and more importantly, there's black is never gonna get this pawn on h5. So the basis of thinking that this was a okay strategy for black was based on the fact that the king was in a bit of trouble on d1 and black had some very nice diagonals and open files. But it would appear that even though I thought Stockfish was misevaluating this, and I got some support from Leela Zero, um, when we played it out against each other, then Stockfish prevailed. So I think for a practical game, this is very interesting. Chances for both sides. But with the Stockfish's precision, maybe it's objectively good for white. Actually, this is very typical. Leela normally gives a much more human evaluation, and Stockfish sees the deep tactics, says Mayano. Yeah, no, that's kind of my takeaway from the Google Alpha Zero games. That strategy is essentially tactics. So what I thought was interesting about the Alpha Zero engine is that it had a very positional style of play, but essentially what it was doing was finding breakthrough tactics way, way, way ahead of the current position. So that strategy is just tactics deeper. It's tactics we don't fully see the consequences of until many, many moves ahead. But 6 Queen e7 is better, asks Sylvain. I don't know. Are we gonna fully try to rehabilitate my King's Gambit line? Yeah, why not? Why not? But in that case, I'm gonna need a bit more. Fandy Turtle asks, from your perspective as a second, do you think this engine could already be used in prep? Or do you think it needs to be stronger? It needs to be a lot stronger, I think. Okay, Queen e7 from Sylvain, the suggested move. Now also recommended by Stockfish. Bishop e2 is apparently a decent move. Not that I understand why. I guess we're gonna do this first to kind of just confirm that this kind of thing brings no joy for white. This move feels kind of tempting. But it loses a piece. Probably some compensation for the piece, but the fact that Stockfish hasn't is still going deeper and not changing the evaluation from 0.5 means that it's there's not attacking chances there. Bishop e2, I guess, is going to be our main move. Takes, and then d4. Pawn sacrifice on f5. If you take it, then I assume bad things will happen. Ooh, g5. Such a move. What a move. And then queen a5, castles. That's some high level stuff. And the attack on the f file, possible g5 coming up. Very interesting play. So we're gonna go back. Are there any other moves? No. Takes, takes, takes. D4. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to take this one. And then queen takes. Bishop C. Yeah, no. D5 makes more sense. Attacking the pawn on F5. Yeah, both Stockfish and Leela loves White's position. I think that's a not a great start to rehabilitating this for Black. Let's go back. Can we find any other moves? D5 seems a bit too much to me, allowing the bishop B5. But apparently it's the first choice of Stockfish. No, I think I'm gonna stick with D6. I really felt like we were onto something there. Yeah, can we do something else here? Yeah, this is the bad part of opening analysis. When you find the problems and then you go back trying to see if there are some alternatives, you have to reconsider basically because what you were looking at wasn't really very good. Okay, so I guess we're gonna try D5 just to check. Do you know the parameters he used for setting up? I just followed the instructions. Default settings, yes. I have not tried to do anything funky. Will you be playing against Leela today? Yeah, no, I started out doing that. We can do a couple of games to finish the stream as well. I managed to beat Leela at 500 notes per second. That was pretty good, I thought. I'm happy I got it on camera. So A6 was my newest idea for attempt, but yeah, that's not gonna work for a bunch of different reasons. No, D6 has to be the move, and it's also the move recommended by Leela. Takes, and if we can force White into going G4, that's gonna be a big get. G4 might be a good move, but it's also a dangerous move. It's a bit of a shame if I bust my King's Gambit pet line on stream. So I'm gonna make a bit of an effort to fix it. But it's not looking great right now. Yeah, probably you need to go knight d5. Let's see if there are any other options hiding. D5 and then sacrificing a piece. We're definitely doing that. Wow, Stockfish to the rescue once again. D5 and then if G5, just calmly developing the bishop. That's pretty cool. Look at this top line. G5, bishop D6, takes, castles. That's pretty cool. Sacking a piece? I thought Hammer was the king of boring, says you and me. Yeah, no, I am. But I get this huge confidence boost when I have a chess engine helping me out. It feels like I'm not sacrificing my own pieces. I feel like I'm sacrificing the engine's pieces. And I'm totally okay with that. My pieces, I'm very careful of. Other people's pieces, I sacrifice left, right, and center. Although this isn't looking that great after all. Unfortunately, this doesn't work. So I guess we're back to knight d5. Takes, yeah, maybe this move. But at this point, we also have a problem with knight takes e4. So probably we should focus on the problem, leaving us a pawn down, 2 pawns down, rather than the problem leaving us in an unclear position. So last time we gave a check on h4. Can we do h5 instead? No, I don't think so. But actually here we may have rushed. There's also the possibility of knight g3. Could that be a better move? Maybe. h5. d3 takes, check, king moves, bishop d2. Well, this is just a mess, no? Who knows who's better here? I certainly do not know. Castle, sorry. Castles. Bishop b7. Yeah, once again we have a position where Stockfish is saying white has a huge advantage, while Leela is more reserved. But this time I'm gonna have to side with Stockfish. This feels like tactical stuff going on. And in tactics I'm almost always gonna trust Stockfish's opinion on things. So Leela with the 0.2 advantage and Stockfish going 0.2, 0.3. 2-point difference in evaluation. And they're not even suggesting the same move. Let's input queen f2. And Leela immediately realizes what's going on and goes from 0.3 to 1.1. That's a 0.8 increase just immediately. It's fascinating, really, how much inputting moves is affecting Leela, because she's making her assessment pretty instantly and sticking close to it. But once there's a move that she has underestimated, she immediately realizes that this is trouble. It would be nice if she would realize a bit sooner. Yeah, this is the end. This stream is amazing, says I just mouse slipped. Well, thank you. I wanted to try something new. I actually considered doing just a clean opening analysis session, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that. But this is a mixture of two things, I guess. Doing opening analysis and testing out how Leela works at this stage in her development. That's also a setup thing. You can get her to consider more before. Wait, what? Are you saying that her settings, her default settings are bad? Or are you saying that people care more about... No, I didn't understand that comment. If you can make her better by changing settings, you should have that as default settings, right? It's always the... you can see more moves or deeper, right? So I guess you're saying that you can choose to make her see more different moves initially at the cost of not seeing as deep. But if her evaluation is that fantastic, then maybe it doesn't matter so much for her to see very deep. And then you benefit more from avoiding her making all these blunders. Do you ever see the eval change at all between moves? Yes. Yeah, maybe you don't see it too clearly. I made it as big as possible, but yeah, definitely. Showing how you structure and analyze your repertoire would also be very interesting, says some German patzer. Yeah, no, I don't think that would be very interesting because there is no structure. I mean, basically what I would normally do is play through games being of the week via the week in chess, and then if I see something interesting, I would analyze that. There's not a lot of structure to it. You just look for new ideas and analyze what catches your eye. Yeah, we're gonna shut down this line. Yeah, one last attempt at trying to fix my pet King's Gambit, but it's not looking good. It does look like this Queen h5, Queen g5 is a refutation. Okay, let's try this line one more time. It's supposed to be the main line. Queen e7, d4 takes, check, Queen g5. So Leela is not suggesting Queen g5, so maybe there is some hope trying to follow Leela's recommendation in this variant tree. Okay, so let's take on c2, knight c3. Now Leela says exchange queens, but Leela also says that this is trouble. So my hopes, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Back d6, bishop d3. Maybe even e6 would have been okay there. Both engines agree this is better for white. So this is not going to be, it's not going to be the solution we're looking for. So I busted my own King's Gambit, I guess. Or rather, I noticed that Stockfish busted my King's Gambit is the more accurate description. Check and then Queen G5. Doing everything in your power to keep that pawn on E5 going strong. Knight F6, Queen F4. Yeah, what to do? What to do? Yeah, this just looks good for white. And knight c3. Yeah, maybe bishop d6. Last attempt. Yeah, if even d4 is a good move, then this is gonna be hopeless. d4 takes. Takes back with the c pawn. I do not understand that move, but if it's good, it's good. Yeah, maybe it's not good. Well, Leela seems to like it. Maybe we should reverse. That Leela gets to play white against Stockfish. Yeah, we'll try that. So Stockfish wants to go with black, he wants to castle. And now it's Leela having the material advantage. And she wants to go d4. Stockfish wants to grab an exchange on f7, but it didn't want to do that earlier. Let's just follow Leela with white. d4, then Stockfish is very big on the bishop b4 move. Leela wants to go bishop d3, giving the pawn on d4 for some initiative. This looks very interesting, and Stockfish is going. We're going to get another nice duel. Stockfish thinking that black can survive, Leela saying that white is doing very well. But for once, this is more of a tactical situation. So Leela now being more of an engine, thinking that it can exploit an initiative and tactics. Let's go through this. Knight takes d4, Leela with bishop e3, Stockfish changing its mind, it seems. No, it's not changing its mind. Well, it's going toward a white advantage, but the thing is that Stockfish changes its mind much more than Leela. So Leela has been consistent in saying that this is better for white. But what's also interesting is that they're not suggesting the same moves. So after c4, Stockfish wants to go bishop takes d4, while Leela wants to go a3 and b4. So now we're back into the pattern where Leela gives itself a big advantage and Stockfish is at 0.0. Let's copy this to the notation. Bishop a5. Leela wants to go b4. We're going to comply. And now d6 is the suggested move. Leela wants to take on a5. Then we're gonna take on e5. Takes back. And now bishop takes f5 is the crucial difference. So Leela is not considering bishop takes f5. So if bishop takes f5 works, I think we're going to say that Stockfish is still superior in tactics by quite a bit. And Leela really needs to get her tactical game up if she's going to be helpful to humans. Because a lot of the positional stuff we can evaluate for ourselves. So the engine's main function is always going to be tactics. And if we cannot trust Leela's tactics, she's not going to be able to compete with Stockfish at the moment. And then we'll need to follow whether or not she gets up to that level. So bishop takes f5. Leela still being optimistic even after inputting the move. A lot of the times when I have input the suggested moves from Stockfish, Leela has changed her evaluation immediately. But this time she actually goes further up in advantage. Takes on f6. Now Stockfish wants rook takes f6. By far the top choice. And it's not being considered by Leela. Let's go for it. And immediately after rook takes f6, Leela drops down. Wow, that was... Leela, look at this. Leela at 0.7. And immediately, as I input the Stockfish move, rook takes f6, she drops to 0.4. Last time she dropped even further. Okay, so 0.4. Still thinking she's better. Give a check, bishop in between. Queen a4. And now queen e8, suggested by Stockfish. Not on Leela's radar. And immediately after making that move, Leela drops to black advantage. Now I find this very fascinating. Immediately inputting moves and it... Because I mean, one thing is that it was wrong, right? But completely changing evaluation due to certain moves. That's a bit strange to me. Takes. Leela still thinks it's better. Knight d5. Takes. King h8. Giving back the piece on e3. But getting a strong bishop and active king in an endgame. This might actually be the first endgame we're looking at. Take g6. Stockfish thinks there's no problems. Leela thinks white is a little bit better. White should be a little bit better. I would play for a win here with white. I would think I was close to winning as white. Ah, rook a6. Okay, so maybe it's a draw. Okay. I think yeah, I think my King's Gambit is pretty much busted. I'm gonna end the stream with a couple of games against Leela. And then I'm gonna be done for the day. Yeah, the Fritz software is, I don't know, it's because I'm streaming, so maybe my computer isn't coping very well. But the thing of it, lagging while executing the moves is a bit annoying. Okay, I'm gonna go to play against Leela. We'll do one final game. On the hard difficulty, 400 notes. You can play yourself at this link. I won my previous game, so let's see if I can repeat that. I have played the same opening over and over and over again, so we're gonna try something new this time. Let's go to the Nimso. Let's go classical Queen's Gambit, declined. Let's see what she knows about this stuff. Bishop d6, you're really not supposed to do that. It might give you some trouble on the diagonal. But I'm open to giving you the benefit of the doubt in this position. I realize you might have some ideas I do not understand. Yeah, he's going g5. Such an aggressive guy or girl. Ooh, I may have blundered something. I definitely blundered something. So now Queen d6 is gonna hurt a lot. I played faster than I did the other times, and I shouldn't have. But the other times I played the same opening over and over, which gave me an advantage all the time. And now I'm playing a new opening that maybe is not giving me an advantage from the get-go. Her expected score, she says, is 51.6, which I don't understand. If she's just winning a pawn, then it should be much higher. I don't see how to defend. Maybe I just have to sacrifice the pawn? Well, by sacrifice I mean giving away the one I blundered. Okay, apparently King G2 was not the best move, but I don't see what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I'm just a pawn down. I don't understand why she's giving herself 52% chance. Because to me it just feels like I'm a pawn down with no real compensation. Some compensation, I guess. Never mind. We're back to no compensation. 72% now. This is actually going to be the first game I lose against her, I think. But I also have been playing a lot quicker than the other games. You have this playing against the computer fatalism in your moves. Yeah, but I did manage to win earlier. So maybe at this point I was becoming too confident. That's going to be my excuse. I don't even see how I can fight. Check. Is this the same Leela that beat Penguin like 40 times? No, it's significantly weaker, says Fundy Turtle. Which probably shows why I was able to win that last game. But I'm not winning this game. No matter how much I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna play f6, king g6 and resigns. He didn't play king g6. That makes no sense. Okay, it does make sense because now I'm getting checkmated. Never mind. White isn't checkmate. Okay, one more. Last game of the day. Let's play the English opening this time. I know this line actually. This is better for white. Do I go bishop e3 or e3? I'm gonna go this. And this. And this. Whew, I have such a good position right now. Ooh. Wonderful position for hammer. Huh. That move I had not anticipated. Guess I'm doing guess I'm doing this. And then with this. But maybe that was a blunder. Ah, come on. I had such a good position. And I messed it up. Ah, I didn't see that. Oh, I'm getting crushed. This is why it's no fun playing against computers. You get so depressed when you miss something elementary and then end up just losing. I was much better there. Too good. Too good. It's just too good. I guess we're gonna see its endgame skills. Not that this is the most difficult endgame to test. No, come on, take back. Can I take back? That was too silly to fall for. I was getting too confident. Ah, there's no takebacks. It was not doing very well on that test, I would say, but I just blundered. Okay, this is the last game. For this time I'm for real. It's also a nice round number for the stream. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, no, I'm getting nice opening advantages, as I guess you would expect. And then bad things are happening afterwards. Getting very nice positions. Yeah, so Leela also has kind of the chess engine problem of not having an opening book. So its openings are not fantastic because as humans we have researched the openings for so long. Yeah, so a repetition. Am I gonna be a chicken and do the repetition? Yeah, I think I am. I'm gonna be a chicken. Boring hammer. Game over. Drawn position. 3 times repetition. What level is this? This is hard. I was normally trying I was doing normal for the first game of the day at the beginning of the stream, and since then I've been doing hard. 400 notes it says. I don't know if that's per second or not. That's gonna be it from me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Um, I think I learned a little bit more about the Leela chess engine. I hope you did too. I'm gonna be back on Tuesday with some tactics for you. Tuesday at 5 p.m. There might be an unscheduled stream on Monday. So I'm just gonna put that warning out there. There might be an unscheduled stream on Monday. In order to get a notification if I do go online, you should subscribe on Twitch. No, follow on Twitch, and get notified in your personal settings. I also appreciate if you subscribe to me on Twitch. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, everyone, and goodbye.